It is time for another AOR F1 League race. It is round 7 of the championship, it is the British Grand Prix, and it is a sunny weekend here at Silverstone. A track that I did attend as a spectator in real life F1 in 2014 for my first live experience of F1, and I was there with my league teammate actually, KPTK92, who I will be racing against today, and it'll probably be some kind of video coming from that weekend at some point. But enough about that. It's Silverstone, which is a fun track to drive. Unfortunately though, we didn't have the biggest grid for this race, as it took place at the time of a World Cup football match, so a few drivers were away watching that, and a few drivers were just simply on holiday, making for not an optimal grid size for this race. But those of us who did attend were of course ready to make a race of it as always. So here you have my point of view of the British Grand Prix, with obviously the official highlights coming at a later date.
That last lap puts you into 8th. 5 minutes. There are 5 minutes of the session remaining. You're in 6th place. 6th. Illegal manoeuvre. Cede that position or will receive a penalty. We've been given a time penalty. It'll be added to your time at the end of the session. Okay, prime for your next box. Complete, go now. We believe the car ahead is running standard revs. Standard revs. Okay, you're in his dirty air. You've lost some front-end grip. We can't afford to lose too much time. Go for the overtake. The track is clear. Track is clear. You have no more scheduled pit stops, Okay, it looks like the car ahead is trying to create a gap. He's running full revs, maximum power. We might need to think about moving to fuel mix mode 2 in the next few laps. We're down to 7th. second of the car ahead. Get ready to use DRS to overtake.
So there you go. A nice little battle there at the end with my teammate. I absolutely thought that I had got him when I went round the outside of Stowe on the last lap. But then, going defensive into the last chicane, my left front tyre just locked up at the slightest of touches on the brake before it even started turning, and that was obviously quite annoying and made me lose out to Kerry in the end. But it was a decent battle, although a shame, like we told each other at the time, that it felt like a battle to avoid last place due to the lack of drivers, rather than a battle to actually gain 6th, which normally would have been a pretty strong position, even though it didn't really feel like it in this race. But whichever way you look at it, it's 6 points for me for the championship, and it's back to normal in terms of grid numbers for the next race in Germany, so hopefully that should be a good one. And until then, I will say goodbye.